Hi guys, it's Ashley and I'm back this week with a new video for Hip Kit Club using the June kits and one of our cut files for this month. This is the cut file that Andrea designed and I'm going to show you how I altered it to create something a little bit different. So I'm just opening it up here in Silhouette Studio. You can see it just has a mix of images and words. So I'm going to go to Object and Trace and then click Select Trace Area and highlight over that with my mouse, and then I'm going to go back over to the side and uncheck the high pass filter box, and then under Apply Trace Method I can click Trace. So now I have my cut lines and I'm just going to delete the original image there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use some of these and I'm going to put them together to create kind of a well, I guess a welded cut file, more of like a background type cut file. So I just went and released the compound path for that. Now when I do that, it's going to release everything. Every little bit is going to be separate. So you want to make sure when you're moving it that you highlight over everything. You can group it back together like I'm going to do here if you want to do that. You do need to make a compound path before you weld, so you want to make sure that you do that after you've released the compound path. You can see that I did that there, right there before I resized it. You don't really have to group it back together if you do the compound path because it'll just put it back together for you. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to grab some of those different shapes and some of the words, and I want to make sure that I have the little images overlapping because I'm going to weld that together to make it one complete piece. So I'm going to grab the word sweet, and I'm going to use this sweet girl for my title. So I'm just going to pull each of those words from over there, and I'm just going to keep bringing things over. I don't make a full background to where it's like a square 12 by 12. It's kind of more, well, you'll see it at the end. It's kind of a little more abstract, I guess, but I liked the look of it and the way it fit on the layout once I had everything finished. And I wanted everything a little bit bigger than what I had, so you can see I'm just resizing everything there before I add it to the spot that I want it. And I'm not going to do the whole thing that I end up having completed. I just wanted to kind of show you the process of what I did. And you could do this with any kind of cut file set. You've probably noticed that a lot of times I like to alter cut files. I don't always use them as is, but you could definitely do that too. You could make some of these larger and just use it as a large image on your page. There are lots of things that you can do with this just to kind of make it unique, or use them as is, however you want to. But you'll notice, like I said, I'm just overlapping everything because I want all of that to touch so that when I'm ready to go and weld it, that it'll make it all one piece. And I'm moving some things out of the way so I can get to some other things just because of how close they are. So I just had to get that little word hip out of the way. And I like that this has a mix of the word phrases. It has some florals and it has the little hearts. So I had a good variety of things to mix together to make the look that I wanted for the cut file on the layout. I was trying to get to girl right there, but I decided I had to move fancy out of the way to get to that. Just because sometimes when you go across like that, you can pick up other parts of the design that you don't want to have. So some of those things you can just move out of the way. And I like to have it over there to the side off my mat, just so I can grab what I want. And then when I get ready to cut, everything that I'm not using is off to the side, so I don't have to worry about that cutting. And I think I'm just going to grab one other little flower here before I go to weld. And like I said, this isn't the full image that I ended up with, but this just gives you an idea of how I went about putting it together. And just making sure that's connected there to the word girl. And I go ahead and highlight over everything. I was going to group it all together, and then I decided I didn't really need to do that because I was going to weld. So once you've highlighted over everything, you can go over to the modify window and then just click weld. And now you can see how it's put all of that together. It made everything one piece. And I did leave the little dots for my eye, so I just undid and went back and put that back together by grouping it. So now it's all one part. And you can see how easy that was just to make your own design for your layout. And here you can see it finished. So you can see I added a few more things there at the bottom. So this is going to be the main part of my layout, and I wanted it to have some dimension, so I placed it where I wanted it. And then I'm going to use a variety of pop dots, some of the bigger ones, some of the smaller ones, just depending on the area where I'm putting it. And I wanted it there, so instead of trying to put the pop dots on and then flip it over once I had that finished and not getting it quite in place, I just left it where it was. And you can see that I'm working my way up, just adding the pop dots under that part. And there are going to be some things when I start embellishing that will be layered under the cut file, and some things that will be layered over it. And I really like the look that that gives the final layout at the end. And if you need to, if you've got some small spots that your pop dots won't work with, you can just kind of cut those in half if you need to, just to get them in those little smaller areas. And you don't have to back everything, just make sure you've got some of the main parts with the pop dots, just so you can get that dimension added. And I got that one a little too close, so I wanted my photo to kind of slide under there. So I just popped that one up, and then I was able to put it under. So there are some amazing Simple Stories pages, papers in this month's kit, in the June kit, and this is from the Sunshine and Happiness collection. And these flowers on this paper were just screaming to be fussy cut, and they worked well with the cut file. So I'm just going to cut a few of these here, and these are going to kind of be layered over and under the cut file. I like that mix of the cut file with the fussy cut papers, and the contrast of the white cut file with the color from the flowers. So just probably 2, I think, is what I cut here and add to the page. And there's quite a bit more that I actually end up cutting from the paper and add to the layout off camera, so you'll see that here coming up. So now you can see I have all of those on there and kind of balanced out over the layout. Now I'm going to start adding my embellishments, and this is just the Heidi Swapp chipboard pieces, and I just used that one little phrase that has my heart. It kind of went with the title, kind of, this girl has my heart, so I wanted that right there. And then I wanted to add in a little bit more floral embellishment, so I used some of these wood veneer flowers from the Jelly Bean Soup wood veneers that are included, and I just added some liquid adhesive behind those to tuck in, and I like the extra texture that adds to the layout. And I just did 3 because I'm going to add some other wood veneers also to the layout a little bit later. And then these are the crepe paper rubber charms. I thought that one was cute, and it kind of coordinated with the color on that Simple Stories flower that I added over there to the left side. And since I was kind of putting that over the cut file, it kind of overlapped a little bit. I wanted to pop it up with some dimension, so I just added the pop dots under it and a little bit of adhesive on those ends, kind of to attach it to those flowers, just to keep it from curling and popping up, so that way it would stay in place. And then I also had to add some of those Simple Stories stickers. I like that we had a lot of the Simple Stories. We had some of the papers, we had the little stickers, and then here you can see I'm using some of the brads, and then we also have some of the enamel dots too with the collection. And that one did not want to stick for some reason. He was not cooperating, so I had to go back and add some liquid adhesive to that. I think it was just raised up a little bit more than some of the other ones around the edge, and it didn't want to stick to the heart. And I like that the buttons coordinate also from the Fancy Free collection from Pete Paisley. So I added just a couple of those on the layout too, just to have those different textures mixed in. I like to work in as many of the embellishments from the kits as I can. And those colors worked well with the Simple Stories pattern paper, so they went together perfectly. And I kind of needed some balance on that right hand side, so I used another one of those Simple Stories brads over there just to bring a little bit more over to that right hand side. And the background paper is also one of the Simple Stories papers, the teal, which I really liked. For my background, I liked that the white cut file kind of popped off of that. I could have also done a white on white look, but I really liked that kind of teal paper with the they're weird kind of polka dots, I guess you could say. So I liked that look together. And now I'm back adding a few more wood veneers. These are also Jelly Bean Soup. So I'm just adding some of those. I wanted something right up there, but it wouldn't fit, so I had to move my sticker down just a little bit, which those are kind of good for moving. They don't stick too bad and rip your paper if you're careful, so I was able to move that down a little bit on my photo. And then I'm just going to add some of the enamel dots, and I'll be finishing up here in just a second, and you'll see my full layout and close-ups at the end. So I hope you enjoyed watching this week and that you'll join me again next time, and I'll see you then. Thanks.